what is the view of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen regarding the excuse of ignorance? This is a big issue of dispute, and Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on his soul, is one of the late contemporary scholars, of the great scholars of all. And his writings and his ideas and the way he explained things befits only an excellent teacher, which he was, may Allah have mercy on his soul. He explains that ignorance is a legitimate excuse. And if it was not an excuse, Allah would not have sent the messengers. This is the purpose of sending the messengers, to uplift this ignorance and to educate people and to make them know. And he says there is no difference between ignorance in related materials to aqeedah or to practical issues. So whether it's in aqeedah or in fiqh, it's the same thing. As long as a person is ignorant, then he is exempted and excused. And there is no difference in matters or issues that are apparent to some but hidden from others. So when scholars say that this is so apparent, no, whoever does this, even if he's ignorant, he's a kafir. As long as the ignorance is there, this is a legitimate excuse. Who knows whether this person is ignorant or not? Allah Azza wa Jal. So he's the one who judges him. In this dunya, we judge with what we see. But it's Allah Azza wa Jal who judges people on the day of judgment. Now, to nullify a person's Islam, this can be done by conviction, by action, by rhetoric. And in all these things, we have no problem in saying that this is an act or a statement or a belief of kufr. The problem is when you want to implement this ruling on a specific individual. This is where we have to draw the line and say, wait a minute. Are the conditions fulfilled? Are there any obstacles that prevent us from labeling this individual as a kafir? If yes, then we have to judge accordingly. Because the hadith, which is in the Sahih, of a man who ordered his children to cremate him after his death, and then spreading and throwing his ashes on the top of the hills and the bottom of the valleys and over the oceans, and justifying this by saying, for if Allah was able to resurrect me, he would have tormented me severely. This is a statement of kufr, if you think that Allah is unable to do that. So the Prophet tells us that Allah Azza wa Jal ordered the hills and the valleys and the oceans to gather this man's remains, and he stood in front of him. And Allah asked him, "Oh my servant, why have you done what you've done?" And he said, "Because I was afraid of you, O Allah." So this man was ignorant. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, "I have forgiven your sins." If he was a mushrik, if he was a kafir, Allah would not have forgiven him. We know that for a rule and a fact. But Allah excused him and pardoned him because of his ignorance, or of his misinterpretation and understanding of the rulings, or because of his excessive fear. And this is in the hands of Allah. So this is what Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen thinks, among other things, and Allah knows best.